All right. Now, some of the questions that you're going to have is going to be function, not a function. And you're going to have some graphs. Did you feel confident on this one, Diamond?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's take, you know what, this one. And I'm going to zoom into it a little bit. So you're going to be asked a couple of questions about this graph. Okay, I'm using it as an example. So given this orange graph, do you say function or not a function?
I would say function because
And why?
it goes through it like once. Like
Yeah, your vertical line only passes one time. I agree. It's a function. Now, the next question that I would give you, okay, so given that graph, you said function, awesome. Now, I'm also going to ask you, is it continuous or discrete?
discrete
Why did you choose discrete?
because I don't know.
Okay, you just guessed?
Yeah.
Now, I wrote them differently for a certain reason, okay?
Oh, because one goes like straight and the other one's not.
No, not necessarily. Sorry. It's twinkle because I was silly. That's all. So discrete, that means disconnected. So usually it looks like scatter plots, but continuous, why does this font look different than this one?
Because that's like more nicer looking, I guess.
It's more like nicer looking. It's in cursive.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between cursive and print?
One's like.
There you go, Isaiah. It's connected. So continuous means that you have either a line or a curve. It's something, and it's connected. Here, I could have connected my dots, but then if they were connected, I would say that they are if they are connected, they are
continuous.
Continuous, awesome. But if they are disconnected, little dots everywhere, we call it
discrete.
That easy. Connected, continuous, disconnected, discrete. Okay, so once more, this orange graph, continuous or discrete?
Continuous.
Because it is
connected.
Connected, that easy. Now, next question that you'll be asked. Now, I understand this is all just one graph, but one graph you can make a million questions. So what if I asked you, what is f of 3 equal to? Isaiah, are you in my geometry or algebra, sweetie?
Algebra.
Algebra, okay, good, thank you. And why did you choose 1?
Because that's where it connects.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. So right over here, you go to your input, your x-axis, and you find the number 3. You go up to your orange line and come back to your y, that's your output, and you would say it's 1. Does that make sense, Diamond?
Yeah.
So in that case, what is f of 5 on this
3.
graph? Absolutely. How about f of -2?
Four.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet deal. Let's try another graph then, because you might cough have one that looks like this. So I would ask you again, function or not a function? And either of y'all could answer.
Function.
Why did you choose function?
Because
Because
the
it's
X
straight.
doesn't repeat.
The X's aren't repeating. It passes the vertical line test. Okay. Continuous or discrete?
Discrete
Why?
because they're scattered.
Because it's disconnected. It looks like a scatter plot. And how about f of 3?
Is it like 2 or -1?
It is -1. Why were you thinking 2 originally? Just wondering.
Because like I went the opposite way, so like I went up, and like I saw, like I followed it to the 2, I guess.
Oh, okay. You follow it on the x-axis?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just need to watch out with that. Honestly, these are going to be most of the questions you're going to get, but you're also going to have some that are tables. So let's move on to a table. Ooh, that's way too big. Let me just move all of these over here, and I'll just deal with this right here. All right, because I can see it. All right, so what do you guys think of this one? Function or not a function?
Not a function.
Not a function. Why?
Because the x-axis repeats.
Which number?
The
6.
The 6. Yeah, perfect. So not a function. Now, this one might be a little weird. What do you think? Continuous or discrete?
Discrete.
Yeah, because if you were to put those coordinates on an XY plane, you'd end up with, well, 6, -12 is all the way down here, -3, 6, and then 6, +12, and then -4, 8, somewhere over there, you know. So you'd end up with a scatter plot again. So I agree, discrete. I'm not going to mean it. I'm not going to be mean and give you any like that, though. How about
Eight.
Eight.
-4 is 8? Okay, perfect. Let me double check this because I think you guys are going to be perfect. Let's see. And I'm sorry, Isaiah, you had a question, sweetie? Okay, I think he stepped away again. All right, so what if I gave you f of x is equal to 6x plus or minus?
Plus
Give me a number.
4.
One more number.
8.
Okay. So, on this question,
Wait, miss, this is for algebra, right?
yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, so I stopped presenting so you guys can see this a little bit bigger. All right, so this one right here, what do you guys feel that we should do? And Isaiah, just to let you know, sorry, Mr. Leffler, a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now in geometry is also algebra. That's why you're seeing like, this looks familiar. It should look familiar because we're also doing some of this in geometry. So what should we do first here? What's the first
The
step?
parentheses.
The parentheses. What do you mean? Sorry, I'm just not sure what you mean by the parentheses.
Do you subtract x or no?
Which x? I think you're on the right track.
Xx and minus 8x.
Okay, so what we're doing is something, oh, not the red one. We said it started with a C. What are we doing with them? What should we be doing with these two?
Subtracting.
Yeah, we're combining them. So it's 6x minus 8x. What does that give us?
Is it
Two.
-2 or just 2?
It is -2. You are correct.
Oh.
-2
Okay.
x, and then
+4.
+4.
plus 4. Okay. You're going to cough, 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 cough. See something very similar to this cough. But you might cough, cough, be asked a question like this. Which of the following options are true? So I'm going to put them up here. Maybe I'm going to zoom out a little. So the first option I'm going to say is f of -1 equals 5. F of two equals 0. F of 4 equals 4, or last option, f of 7 equals -12. And so it's going to say which of these options is true. Now, it gave us this ugly long one first. So what we need to do is substitute in our inputs to see which one of these are correct. Sound good? Isaiah, would you mind putting yourself on mute for just a minute? Sorry, thank you.
My fault. I thought I was on mute.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay. So now that we have this, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and put down a new sheet because we've simplified our answer, right? Or our problem. So our problem can look like f of, and I'm going to leave it blank. You know what? No, I'll put the x right in. F of x is equal to -2x plus 4 is what you guys told me, right? You guys simplified it. So now, remember like yesterday, I'm going to take my red marker. And which one do you guys want to do first?
The 7.
Want to do the 7 first? Okay. So I'm going to erase that x. I'm going to put a 7 here. But then that means what else should have a red 7? So remember, it was always that first
The
step
X.
that you messed up on. The what?
Is it the X?
Yeah. So can you help me rewrite this? What should I write?
To do stepmom, stepson movies. After the sketch, he takes a phone call and comes back. He says, "Hey yo, so I just got word that
Watch that mute again.
Vegas, 6 scenes, 50 grand."
Wouldn't it be
My thought process.
f and then the parentheses 7
Uh-huh.
-2
-2.
plus 7? Oh no, you put the 7 again in this parentheses.
In parentheses.
We should just, you know, do
Isaiah, can you check your mute again, sweetie?
Cater Real Riley Reid.
And then what?
$1 in a high five.
+4.
Plus 4.
A career here. The sketchy guy said that the hotel room and everything would be paid for. I was like, well, I haven't had a vacation. No, Adrian, no, don't do it. And at the end, I just denied the guy, to be honest.
Okay, there we go. All right. So now what?
You solve.
Uh-huh. Tell me what to do next.
Don't you do like -2 times 7?
Yeah, what is that?
Is it -14?
Uh-huh. And then
And then +4.
plus 4. Now, f of 7 is equal to, remember, use the number line if you need to.
Is it -10?
It is -10. So is that true or false?
False.
False. So pretty much what you're going to be doing, I would honestly suggest having like maybe a whiteboard for this one, because this is what I'm going to do because I'm super lazy. Erase that part there, because then I need to move on to one of these 3 and I need to do it again. So Isaiah, give me a number. What's the next one I should try?
Which Isaiah?
Oh, Ibarra.
5.
5. All right. Wait, there's not a 5 here. You trying to function with me?
Which one are you talking about?
The inputs. So Diamond had suggested 7. We already tried that one. That one was false.
Oh, you're talking about those. 4?
Yeah, the inputs. 4. Okay, right here. So I'm going to erase this. And I'm going to erase this. And what am I going to replace those 7s with? A red.
4.
4. Yeah, that's my new input. All right, so we're testing out this one right here. Okay, so this was a step that you kind of struggled with, Diamond. So we already did the first step. We substituted that x, we substituted in a 4. So first step is done. Next step, what do we do?
Multiply -4.
Yeah, which is
I mean, -8.
-8. And bring down +4. Oh man, we get a whole bunch of these nasty numbers. That's okay. So -8 plus 4 is
4.
the same thing.
Or
4
-4.
8. So what's 4 minus 8 equal to?
4.
-4.
-4. Ah, function. Almost, right? So true or false?
False.
False. Okay, well, that means we're halfway there. Okay, so let's change to a new input. Got a 50-50 chance of getting this one. So Diamond, what do you think? Do you want to do this one or that one?
The -1.
The -1, okay. Where else do I write -1 at?
The x.
The x. The red x is now -1. Okay, step 1 is done. I substituted. Next step.
Multiply.
Multiply. Negative times a negative is a
Positive.
positive
2.
2. Plus 4?
6.
Huh, so f of -1, is that true? Is it true?
No.
No. So, oh my goodness, this one had better be it. This is like our only option. So hopefully you guys are able to guess quicker on the next one. All right, so input of 2. Where else does that red 2 go?
The x.
For the red x. Okay, next step.
Multiply.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's 4.
Is it?
-4.
-4. And what's -4 plus 4 equal to?
0.
0. So you'll notice how we had to erase some work. This, if you're doing it on paper, it's going to amount to a lot of scratch work. That's why I'm highly suggesting that you guys have a piece of paper with you while you're doing your quiz, because I see at least 1, 2 problems like this. I'll give you one more difficult one. Honestly, I don't think you have too many bad ones of this. You have about 4 of these problems. Okay, so now, because these are going to be jumbled up, let me make sure that you're still awake. And let's try this one out. Okay. So what do you guys think about this list? Function or not a function?
A function.
Pourquoi? Sorry.
Because-
what-
The X don't repeat.
The X's don't repeat. So know that you have a lot of these scattered around. So whenever you see these, it's kind of a brain break, and you're able to, it's 16 questions, but it's because there's a lot of these sort of questions because I want you to get a high grade. Okay. All right. So let's try. Yeah, one difficult one, and then I think you should be good. So f of x equals, give me a number.
8.
Ooh. Plus or minus?
Minus.
Plus or minus?
Plus.
Another number.
4.
All right. And then I'm going to ask you for, let me see. That part's already hard. Oh, you know what? There's 2 hard ones, so I'll go over both. Okay. I'm going to ask for f of 5. Now, am I ready to start evaluating and putting that 5 in? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Wait, yes.
No, I agree with your first comment. I don't think we're ready yet. This looks too nasty right now. So let's try and simplify it. What should we do?
Do what's in the parentheses.
Do you remember what we wrote down on our notes yesterday?
Distribute.
Yeah. What should I distribute?
I don't know.
That's all right. Here, I'm going to move this over here so that it won't get as confusing. That's our question. We'll come back to it. So, Mr. Ibarra, do you think you know what we should distribute?
The X's or no?
Well, what gets away that we need to distribute?
X minus 1.
Oh, what's around x minus 1? Huh. Nothing?
Lines.
They're not lines. They're curved lines, and they're called
Parentheses.
parentheses. Now, the parentheses tell you that the x minus 1 is grouped together. And what's outside the parentheses that needs to be distributed in? The
Eight and 4x.
actually just the 8. Because remember that parentheses not only are they grouping symbols, but they also mean multiply. Whenever you distribute, you are multiplying. So what is 8 times x?
8x.
8x, yeah. Am I done distributing to everything in the parentheses?
No.
No, I also need to distribute this 8 to
-1 or
the
1.
-1. No, you were correct, the -1. What is 8 times -1?
-8.
Yes. And now at this point, I'm just going to bring everything down, including my f of x and my plus 4x. So the only reason we're not distributing this 4x into the parentheses, I know that it is outside the parentheses, but there's a plus sign with it. So this is very similar to the first problem we did. What should we do again here? We started with a C.
Contrast. Combine.
Sorry?
Combined.
Combine like terms. What are my like terms in this equation?
The 8x and
You're
4x.
correct. And the positive 4x. So if we combine them, that means that we add them together. What does that give us?
$12.
12. 12x.
12x.
And then I just bring down my -8 because there are no other like terms with it. And my f of x. So now, do you think this is a lot nicer looking now that it's simplified? Maybe a little?
Yeah.
Do you think we can get our final answer then? F of 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the first step again?
Substitution.
Absolutely. So tell me what you rewrite.
12x
12.
minus. Oh, the 5.
So 12.
And then the 5
How?
and the parentheses.
See? Oh, in parentheses. Okay. And then?
-8.
-8. Now I know that 5 times 10 is 50. And 5 times 2 is 10. So how much is 5 times 12?
6. No.
What was that?
60.
60, yeah. And then -8. Tell me, what is f of 5 equal to?
52.
Good job. Now, I believe I have on that on the review that you can do it multiple times. So if you would like to go back and do more of those problems, you're more than welcome to. Do you guys feel a little bit more confident doing this?
Yeah.
Do you want to try one last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think this one will be the test of confidence here. And I want you guys to find f of 4. Why not? Okay, so if I give you f of x is equal to x squared minus 3, do we need to simplify this, or do you think we're good?
I think we're good.
Yeah, actually we are. So in that case, I'll just write my f of 4 right here, because I think we are good. So tell me, what's the first step in red?
You put it where the X is. So like
Yeah, what was that S word?
substitute.
Okay, so tell me what to write.
You substitute the X
Mm-hmm.
and then 4 like 4 squared, but in the parentheses.
Ooh, but in the parentheses, and then squared, and then what?
Minus 3.
Minus 3. Okay, so now what?
You solve it.
Yeah,
So wouldn't it be like 16 minus 3?
uh-huh.
Which would go to 13.
Tell me, is this not easy then? That was the hard one, because we really haven't been working with squares all this time.
For real?
Yeah. Now, what I think you need to do is probably write down some steps for yourself. So I like to keep things in order. So usually I need to check to see, do I need to and then maybe this will help you. You could write it down too. And just making sure this isn't coming out backwards, right? You guys can see this right the right way?
Yeah.
Okay. On mine, I don't know. I can't get rid of it. It looks like a mirror. So check to see, do I need to distribute? Because this case, did we need to distribute?
No.
Nope. Then you ask yourself, how about, do I have to combine my like terms? Did we have any like terms here?
No.
No. So in that case, we were able to start off with step 1, and that was substitute. And then just like you said, last step is to solve or simplify. So I'll give you a minute to write that down, because these steps, I think that was your main crux, is that you felt overwhelmed getting a brand new one, not having these steps right there for you. So I'll leave that on there.
Leave it to me. I forgot to push record. I just wanted to reiterate what we had gone over today, and the doozy of a problem. So I went ahead and rewrote the problem and our 4 steps here. Well, 2.5. So the first thing I had asked you guys was, do I need to distribute? Sorry, I had to rewrite that actually. So the first question I had asked you guys was, do we need to distribute? And that's where we ran into an issue. We realized we have no idea what the function distribute means. So I asked for a bit, and then I realized, yeah, you know what? We need to discuss what distribute is. Now, distribute, you will be able to recognize distribute because distribution needs some parentheses. Usually, whenever I see distribution, what we do is we take the number or the term in front of the parentheses and we distribute And remember, parentheses mean multiply. So, aka multiply it by whatever is inside the parentheses, all of its terms. So once we rediscovered what distribution was, I took a look and we asked again, do we need to distribute? Do we have parentheses with something in front of it? And y'all said yes. We had this very specific -3 in front of x plus 1. So -3 is going to be distributed, aka multiplied, times all of the terms inside the parentheses. Now remember, I have two terms. My first term is x, and my second term is a +1. Terms are going to be separated by either a plus or a minus sign. So we distribute, that means to multiply. So -3 times x is -3x. Then I asked, are we done distributing? Heck no. I got a second term here. I can't forget about it. If you're going to distribute, everyone's got to get a piece. So that's why you never bring hot Cheetos to class, because if you don't have enough for it to distribute to everybody, don't bring it. All right, so -3 is also going to be distributed to +1. So aka -3 is going to be distributed or multiplied times +1. So negative times a positive is negative. So -3 times a +1 is simply -3. All right. About to wipe that off with my hand as usual. Now, I'm just going to bring everything down. Now, there was an amazing thing that happened here, because then I asked again, am I done distributing? Is there anything else, any other parentheses that I need to distribute into? And then there was a huge misconception. So I want to make sure that we go over it again. I was told, what about the X and the F in front of it? So remember, F of X looks like F of parentheses X. F of X, F is the name of the function. X is my input. So that's the same thing as saying Y, my output. So if the F of X is confusing you for right now, you are more than welcome to replace it with a regular Y. Y equals, but just do know that F of X is going to be necessary for our function evaluation. So we'll be changing it back to F of X in just a moment. So again, we're asked, is there anything else that needs to be distributed in pink? Nope. So let's move on to the next step. Another thing that we need to check, because you're not always going to have a horrible doozy like this. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'm going to be giving you very many like this at all. But you might cough, have some on your assignments. So I just want to make sure that you know what you're doing. Next, we'd move on to combine like terms. Now, whenever it comes to combining like terms, you guys admitted to me that it doesn't make very much sense, or it's been a while. So I gave you this video to kind of remind y'all how to combine like terms.
Easy for kids to understand. Yes. Just remember that math is a language.
Now, thinking about what he had said about the apples and apples analogy, we would want to take a look at like terms just the same way. He had as well the 7x squared plus a 2x squared. For something to be a like term, it not only needs to have the same variable, but it also needs to be raised to the same exponent. And don't worry, you shouldn't already have this. This is usually something that we fill out in class as a prerequisite, but, well, we'll be getting to that. Don't you worry. So using that example, taking a look here, we would want to find the terms that have the same exponent, or sorry, the same variable letter raised to the same exponent. So taking a look here, I was told negative 3x, and yes, you do have to include the sign in front of it, as well as positive 4x. Now, some of y'all might think to include the x squared, but notice that both of these do not have a square attached to it. That's why we would not circle them. They are not like terms. So if we were to think of it as negative 3, and these are going to be Granny Smith apples, and then plus 4 apples. Now, we're not all of a sudden going to change our apples into oranges. I know that doesn't look like an orange, but whatever. And I also couldn't combine the number of apples with the number of oranges. You can't switch your variable anywhere in between. You can't mix your fruits. So there's no way that it's going to change. So it's going to stay apples. Now, this is actually the same as saying 4 apples minus 3 apples, in case you're having some difficulty doing the integers. That would give me just 1 apple left. So let's write that over here. We have combined them by using addition, and that's left me with 1 positive, not apple, but x. And let's bring everything else down. Okay, now at this point here, I've already distributed. I've combined my like terms. There's nothing else that I need to combine because nothing else are like terms. So that means I'm going to move on to substitution. Now, just like I told y'all earlier, y equals, I can also write f of x equals. And that comes into handy because now I get to start my problem. My problem is, what is f of 4 equal to? So notice that I've switched to red, and like I said, I love color, but it's going to be very useful, okay? I'm not just going to use color for color reasons. So taking a look here, I'm at step 1. I need to substitute my input, my x, okay? Now here, I have an x in 2 spots. Now this one was a little tricky in comparison to the ones that we were doing previously. So I had asked you guys to show me how should I rewrite this. And I got a lovely response from Jacqueline, so I'm going to rewrite what she had written. Now, very purposefully, I have this red here. So we took our input x and we substituted the new input 4 for every single x that I have. Now, it's a really good idea to use parentheses each time because you might have to do something. Those parentheses are not only a grouping symbol, but also multiplication. So at this point, we're at step 2. We're going to solve. We're going to simplify using our order of operations, PEMDAS, all right? So first thing I take a look at is P for parentheses. Now, there's a huge misconception. People think, do the parentheses. Well, that's kind of vague. Now, what it means by parentheses is anything inside the parentheses. So, well, what's inside the parentheses? That's just 4. There's nothing I can do inside the parentheses. So, you know what, boom? I'm done with the P. All right, let's go on to E for exponent. And yes, I do have an exponent right here. So 4 squared. And you guys told me that was 16. Put a little, there we go. All right, so I'm done with E. Move on to M or D, because remember, we usually have it stacked up like this, and M and D hold the same weight. So we already did parentheses and exponents. So take a look. Do we have either multiplication or division? And this one, you guys didn't catch right off the bat, but yes, we actually do have multiplication. Not only is the P, the parentheses, a grouping symbol. That's why I changed it to GEMDOS. It's not only a grouping symbol, it can also mean multiplication. Since there's nothing but just one term in there, this is actually saying positive 1 times 4. And you guys told me that that is a positive 4. And let's bring everything else down. Okay, so we've done multiplication. I don't have division. And then addition, subtraction also holds the same weight, so you can do whichever one comes first. So y'all told me to do this addition first, and that was equivalent